Good afternoon, class. This afternoon I'd like to talk to you about how important it is to donate to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So let me begin by showing you a few pictures. Now imagine these children or family or friends. How does it make you feel? And what can you do to help? Again, I'm going to talk to you about why it is important to donate to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what is St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about its funding. And last but not least, I'm going to talk to you about how, through your donations, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is able to save lives. I hope by the end of the speech, you'll consider donating to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So let me begin. What is St. Jude Children's Research Hospital? Danny Thomas once said, "No child should die in the dawn of life." So, with help of Dr. Lemuel Digstand, he created St. Jude Children's Research Hospital based on this premise. Basically, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is a pediatric treatment center and research facility focused on children's catastrophic diseases. Also, they set up this treatment and research facility as a non-profit tax-exempt medical corporation. So now that you know it's a non-profit tax-exempt medical corporation, let me talk a little bit about its funding. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital requires $2.4 million a day to operate. And I know you're asking yourself, saying to yourself, that's a lot of money. And where can all that money go? Well, I'm going to tell you three places that money goes to. First, according to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital's online webpage, eligible patients who are accepted for treatment at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital are treated without regard for the family's ability to pay. Second, the families are provided transportation, lodging, and meals free of charge. Last but not least, there are 36 specialized research departments, which require 81 cents of every daily donated dollar to continue research. But St. Jude Children's Research Hospital doesn't just use donations for research. They also use donations for treatment, which brings me to my last point. How does your donations help St. Jude Children's Research Hospital save lives? And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that through their survival rate. Since St. Jude Children's Research Hospital's conception in 1962, they've increased the survival rate of acute lymphoblastic leukemia, which is the #1 most common childhood cancer, from 4% to 94% today. Also, according to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital's FY10 report, 2,937 patients were considered St. Jude alumni in FY10. Patients become alumni when they are 18 years old or their disease has been in remission for 10 years. And finally, there were 1,633 St. Jude-like patients. St. Jude-like patients participate in ongoing hospital studies of adult survivors of childhood cancer. And all of these great statistics came by way of donations. So today I've talked to you about what is St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. I've talked to you a little bit about its funding. And last but not least, I talked to you about how your donations help St. Jude Children's Research Hospital save lives. So to conclude, I'd like to tell you a little story. When I was 15 years old, my mother decided to have another child against medical advice. And during her pregnancy, she developed complications. In fact, her white blood cells started treating my little brother as a disease. They entered his bloodstream and caused him to have an acute blood disorder. When my little brother was born, the local doctors couldn't do anything. So they immediately rushed my dad, mom, and my little brother to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. There, my little brother was admitted immediately, even though my dad's insurance couldn't pay. My dad and mom were put up in one of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital's lodging facilities. They were provided transportation and meals, and even a phone to make long-distance phone calls. Through their expert treatment and research, they were able to save my little brother's life. When my mother and father came back home, they did nothing but boast about St. Jude Children's Research Hospital facilities. They talked about how knowledgeable the doctors were, and they were able to translate that information to my parents, and how through their excellent treatment they were able to save my brother's life. And they also talked about the lodging, how immaculate it was, and how friendly the people were that prepared their meals and gave them breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They went on, and it was just something beyond a facility they could ever imagine. So the next time you receive a request in the mail from St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, or you see one of their advertisements on TV, or you get a phone call, I hope that you'll remember why it is important to donate to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and you will consider donating. Thanks, and have a good afternoon.